came for me when I was down, when the smile was gone, when hope was thin. Caught me on my weakest day, when strength had slipped and faith wore thin.
They chose a moment I could break, when every step felt hard to take. But right there in my darkest hour, I felt the lift of a greater power. And they met me in my calamity, but the Lord stood up for me
when I had no ground left to stand. I leaned into
His steady hand.
what should have crushed me in that fight became the place where God held tight. I won't pretend I
Was strong that day. I didn't have much left to say. All I knew was I couldn't fall unless God called me. That was all.
And He did right when I needed grace. Night after night at a safer place, He proved again what love can do. By being there when I was through.
Support doesn't shout, it quietly stays. Storms are loud and nights are long. God doesn't wait for better days. He steps in now and makes us strong.
They came when I was almost gone, but the Lord became my dawn.
From broken knees to steady feet, He carried me through my defeat. I stand today because I know when trouble comes, God won't let go.
The waters pulled back at His command. The deep revealed what none had planned. What once was hidden, buried low, was brought to light for all to know.
The ocean's floor, the earth's so bones shook awake at His thunderous tone. Creation opened raw and wide when God rebuked the raging tide.
The depths were seen, the ground lay bare at the sound of the Lord's strong air. When God speaks, what's hidden breaks. Truth comes up and fear escapes. No lie survives, no mask can stay. When the Lord breathes in power and sway.
felt my own foundation shake when God stripped down what was fake. What I leaned on, weak and thin, fell apart so truth could begin.
Sometimes rescue looks like being exposed, every false ground finally closed. But what remains when the shaking ends is a life built firm on God, my friend. God doesn't break what He won't restore. He only shakes what can endure. When He reveals what lies beneath, He's making room for deeper peace. The seas withdrew, the truth stood clear at the Lord's rebuke, at His breath severe. From open depths to solid ground, my faith now stands where grace is found. I'm not afraid of what He shows, because what remains is a life He chose. Pull me out when I was weak, from enemies I couldn't beat. The strength was more than I could stand. I was outmatched on every hand. They came with numbers, power, pride, certain this would be my final night. But what they didn't understand was I was held by a stronger hand. He delivered me when I couldn't fight, when the odds were stacked, when hope felt light. What was too strong for flesh and bone was not too much for heaven's throne. I stand in freedom, not by might, but by the Lord who won my fight.
Learn there are battles you can't outgrow, fears you face you can't overthrow, moments when all your strength runs dry and all you have is one last cry.
But God is drawn to the helpless plea, to the soul that knows its poverty. When I reach the end of all I could do, that's when God came rushing through. What's too strong for human hands still bows to God's command. No enemy, no force, no fear outmuscles Him who brought me here. He delivered me, I testify, from hatred strong and danger nigh. Now every breath my story sings of how I'm cared by the King of Kings. I won't forget where help began, not in myself, but in God's hand. He reached down from the highest place, through storm and wave and darkest space. When I was sinking, losing ground, His hand found me and pulled me out. I couldn't swim, I couldn't see, the current stronger than my plea. Mercy moved from heaven shone, and I was lifted to breathe once more. He reached down and rescued me from deep, deep waters I couldn't flee. When I was drowning in fear and pain, He pulled me up and called my name. I stand today by saving grace, because God reached into my place. I've learned salvation's not my climb, it's God stepping right on time. Not by strength, not by my will, but by His love that holds me still. The waters raged, the night was long, but grace was stronger than any storm. And every breath I take now tells that I'm safe, and I can tell He doesn't wait for us to rise. He comes down low to lift our lives. No depth too deep, no soul too far for the reach of God, just where you are. He reached down, He pulled me free from the deep where I couldn't be. Now every step on solid ground is proof that grace is what I found. I'll tell the world, I'll lift my voice, because God reached and I rejoice. He loosed His arrows across the sky, flashes of truth came tearing by. What stood against me lost its ground when heaven's fire came raining down. No plan could stand, no line held tight. When God released His blazing light, the enemy scattered, broken and run, outmatched by the Holy One. He sent His arrows, flashed His light, turned my battle in a single night. What came to harm, what came to bind, fell apart and lost its mind. God decides the war is done. Victory comes in the name of the Son. I've watched fear crumble when truth appears, seen hope rise strong from years of tears. once surrounded, loud and proud, couldn't stand when God spoke loud. They fled in pieces, scattered wide, when lightning split their dark disguise. So I won't doubt when the odds look tall. I've seen my God outshine them all. Light doesn't argue, it just appears, and darkness runs when truth draws near. No army stands, no life survives when heaven strikes with a righteous fire. He sent his arrows, cleared the field. Every wound of fear was healed. From scattered foes to solid ground, God turned my chaos into holy sound. I'll tell this story, I won't forget. I'll tell it still fight, the Lord still fights, and he wins, yeah.